In the red, we have the month that I was born in. Very important month.
30 August.
Good hint. Nice hint.
That was a good intro. You now know the month I've been born in. And because you're a girl, you were going to remember that. Unlike a guy, because guys cannot remember birthdays.
And I'm a girl, so I'll pretend not to know.
Are you going to pretend not to know? That's terrible. Over here in the bottom, we have our blue Terran player from China. He is...
We.Loner.Prime.
It is true what I said. Guys cannot remember birthdays like girls. It's actually true. I don't know anybody's birthday.
I'll test that.
I know my own birthday. I don't know Artos's birthday. Forget my family members' birthdays all the time. Gotta have somebody remind me.
So, Loner is from World Elite, which is a really famous China clan. They have a lot of Pro Warcraft 3 players. Example, Sky. And they are in conjunction with Prime in Korea.
Yes.
They are working together. And as you know, Prime has you guys' favorite MKP, Marine King Prime.
Oh, yeah.
And we're on Terminus again. Well, there's a secret supply depot, so...
Yes, it is. Secret supply depot indeed. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, excuse me. Never mind. I thought I caught something. I'm like now in Artos's seat, so I'm not used to actually having this observer screen and sitting around.
Well,
I gotta say, this is actually the better seat too. I can see the door from over there.
Check out the chicks that walk in.
Check out the chicks that walk in. Get my priorities straight when I'm casting. I got orbitals here on the way for both these players. Now, the scouting timing here, at times you got to time it out a little bit differently because you're actually checking at such a far distance that there's a high chance you might not get inside your opponent's base. And that's huge in Turn vs. Terran because in Turn vs. Terran, especially in a map this big, you don't have to take your gas. You can make a command center, as we see from August.
Well, for newer players out there, you know that based on positioning, that affects how you play. In fact, the further you are from each other, the higher chance you're going to go into a more macro-based play because you're not going to able to back up your attack as fast if you decide to go for early game. And right now they're spawning next to each other, and they actually haven't managed to scout that yet, and they're just about to scout that. So it'll be interesting to see how they open up. You know what? Recently, I've been seeing a lot of Halion's play coming in from Terran versus Terran, which is kind of different. Besides seeing the usual Marine and Tank aggression, been seeing a lot of Halion drops, Blue Flame Halion drops, which kind of changes the game a lot. Seeing a bunker going up in Loner's base at the moment.
Yeah, this is not good for Loner because nothing really necessitates him making a bunker except for the unknown factor that could be a rush from his opponent. But since a rush isn't coming, spending money on a bunker is just basically putting yourself behind. And frankly, if you don't do damage to your opponent in a situation like this, and you made defensive structures that could have been invested into other stuff, your economy or things like that, you're going to be pretty behind.
It seems like he's going for an early drop, though, because he's going for a star part. But he's also putting out a tech lab onto his factory.
My bet is it's actually going to be Banshees. That's what Tasis would do. I don't know. Yeah, it is going to be Banshees. And Banshee's pretty good. We've seen this build since the start of Starcraft 2. And, I mean, the theme surrounding the build is that, all right, I'm going to fly this Banshee over to my opponent's base. First of all, no matter what, I'm going to get some kills because it basically kills SCVs in 2 hits. If I get Cloak, we don't have this up on your screen, guys, but Loner had a big misclick that's going to mess up his economy. Sent SCVs, too many to the refinery. But back onto this, he scans it, he sees, okay, the Banshee's on the way now. One key trick with a Banshee is to make them scan if you're getting Cloak and run away. In this case, he's not going for Cloak, but that still might force our Red Terran to stockpile scans that could have been used for mules.
You do see that August does have a lot of Rexes, which means he's going for heavy bio army, and Loner can't really go for Banshees with that because Marines counter Banshees really effectively. Anyhow, he's going to come in and scout with this Banshee anyway. He's going to put Marines at his mineral line though, August, so this Banshee won't be able to do as much damage as he hopes. He did a tech switch again on his starport and decides to go for a siege tank. Here comes the Marines to defend the Banshee, but he does mix all the SCV pullback, which is the point of getting a Banshee, is to damage the economy. No matter whether you kill SCVs or not, or if you mix the SCV pullback, Marines are going to come in and try to poke the Banshee right now. Perfect micro there and timing by Loner.
Yeah, Loner's doing a good job of basically turning this 2-base build into a 1-base defensive build. Turning his opponent's build, that is. And now the Banshee's coming down. Once again, I got to say, Loner is a pretty gutsy guy. Continuing to use his Banshee, which is below half health. But, you know, what's working with it is he's actually forcing his opponent to not move that, to not actually use those SCVs. He finally takes that Banshee out.
Do you see how he kited the Marines? He was like, he was good timing. He's like, I know when he's going to come in. I'm going to make him pull his Marines backwards. But we did see earlier, which I did not mention, Loner actually went for Steam Pack. So we are going to see a really standard Marine siege tank from him, and he has to get really good positioning. He's actually a little bit ahead, Army unit composition wise, because August is going for a bio ball, which means siege tanks are going to be super effective against that.
Yeah, if you get enough siege tanks up, going bionic just isn't really that effective. But at the same note, one thing about going bionic, which is just mass infantry with medevacs, in case you guys at home are new, is that you can try to take advantage of your mobility against the tanks, which are usually in siege mode, and control the map that way. So this is a map where both styles work. It just depends on who's better at executing which ones.
Here comes a drop from Loner. He's coming from behind, takes on a couple of SCVs. He's going to pull his SCVs back. Bunker is actually not in range of this SCVs that will drop. Here comes a Steam Pack from August. Takes on only one Marine. Loner really has really good timing, I have to say that.
Yeah, one thing about Loner is he's always been so good with his control. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up there. He always has such good control. He's very aggressive. It's not always effective, but when he does it well.
Loses only 2 Marines over there, but he managed to get a steam from August. Loner can actually push in right now because he's doing a lot of distraction to the whole bio army of August, and August is going for an MMM, and Loner is going for Marine siege tanks.
Oh, and it looks like we're going to drop over here, and he actually manages to pull it out, pull it back.
Has to find a way to run away with the medivac because he's actually trapped right now. A scan goes off from August, sees the siege tanks that are up front.
So, right now it's on 2 base. The question is, when is the red Terran going to push out? And when is he going to, and when is our blue Terran going to go for somewhat more of a contained-based build? I think our blue Terran was smart to get the sensor tower. As you guys can see on the mini-map, he's already preparing for the possibility his opponent's going to drop him.
Actually, having at the army size right now, they're pretty even on army. August has get Viking out to prevent any more medivac drops because Vikings are able to kind of snipe down the medivacs that are going to come in from the side. So he's like, okay, you know what? I don't really want to deal with the drops with my bio army by moving them around anymore. So I'm going to build some Vikings to prevent any more drops coming in from Loner. Loner actually, it's a good idea Loner pushes right now because he's going to be able to catch August in a good situation instead of waiting for more Marauders coming out, and Marauders are going to be super strong against any tanks if he catches him unseen.
Okay, so nobody's taking a 3rd base really. I'm a bit surprised that our red Terran is being as defensive as he is, and obviously he knows that his opponent has that sensor tower out, which makes stuff a little bit odd. Because if you watch any Marine King Prime games, I think he's probably the best at this style of play. You know that you want to try to drop your opponent's main. That's one of the games you're trying to play. Whenever they leave, you punish them. You go in there, you take out the depots, take out their barracks, and when their army comes back, you leave.
At this point of the battle, what is going to happen is that these 2 players are going to use their scan, try to catch each other out of positions. Loner has to put his tanks siege up and to catch August's army, but August has to catch Loner unsiege in order to win an engagement. So whoever that actually is going to be in a better position is going to win this battle, because it doesn't seem like, you know, they're going to expand. They are trying to get the third base up, but they're not moving out yet.
Both guys, you know, kind of staying roughly the same rate here. In fact, if we look at their supplies, it's 145 to 144 supply difference. So now is going to be the pivotal moment, because our blue Terran is finally electing to be aggressive on the ground, with our red Terran staying in the center of the map. And here comes a stem of battle, which I don't believe August should be doing. And as you can see, he's going to get rid of this factory. That's going to put him in the dark. Our red Terran in the dark as far as what's going on, who's what, when, where, and how.
Loner is actually slowly turtling in with his siege tanks. He's sieging up right now.
Here comes. He's going to attack in the one moment where Terran's the weakest, when he's attempting to get into siege mode. However, I think Loner actually, well, it's tough to say. We can't see every single unit on the screen. I spoke too soon. August. Ooh, sexy play there by August. We got a shot of Loner's face for just a second. Oh, I hope this Viking makes it. There's nothing more sad, you know, Kelly, than watching a Viking try to escape from a situation, because you'd think he'd be able to get away from it, but no, that animation for it to get into fly mode is like 5 minutes. I don't know, it takes so long.
When you look at it, you're thinking, oh my god, please go back into fighter mode. You did see earlier in the engagement, Loner actually got caught up on siege, which was what I kind of said earlier. He really has to be siege up in order to push, but he kind of overestimated his own army there, and August split his army into two, came in from the right to take down the tanks and marine army that was behind, came in from the left side to catch around like 6 tanks that are in front. So that's a big hit for Loner, because tanks are more expensive than your bio army. August actually loads up his medivacs, and he's going to do a drop right now.
Here comes the drop. This is a strategy you want to use in this situation. I can hear the fans of August cheering right now. You want to get in there. He wants to take out some key structures, and when the heat starts to pick up, you just lift and leave. And as you can see, Loner sieges up the siege tanks, but August doesn't care. He just backs up, knows he has more medevacs, and therefore his marine army is going to be stronger. He's going to win this battle and then continue to wreak havoc in Loner's base.
Here comes the steam though. He does manage to chase all the SCV out of the main base. He's gonna nuke down the engineering bay. He has about like 8 to 10 medivacs over there at the moment. Yeah. And you can see he nukes down the orbital command over there. Tanks are gonna be siege up, but August doesn't care. He's like, I did so much damage to you, more than you did to me earlier. Does a scan and sees that the tank are still there. Loner says GG. GG. Our
Chinese player Loner taken out. You can see a smile there on August's face. The guy, you know, he's a Leo. He's going to be a little bit vain. That's what happens when you're from August. I don't actually know this. So, I got to say, I am really shocked that Loner looked like that in that game. Normally we see a little bit better play from him, but at the same time, Loner's had such a difficult time getting a lot of stage time here at GSL compared to some of these other players. Mm-hmm. Some of the guys that we've casted have been all the way, you know, in the up and down matches or you know, stuff like that.
Really far,
and I think stage experience is everything. Loner is a guy who says he does. Nerves do tend to get a hold of him a little bit more so than other players. I want to remind our Chinese fans, though, that Loner can still do this. I think he's still capable of pulling through.
Well, earlier on when he actually lost about 6 to 8 tanks, that was kind of like, I think he kind of knew. Yeah. Like in his heart, he was like, oh, no.
Well, you don't produce your tanks the same way you produce your bio units, because, you know, you don't have a special reactor.